Good morning, lovelies. It's a soggy old morning and it's Tim Wild's Friday Ascension update. We're 2 days away from the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. And how are you all feeling? What's going on out there for you? And I want to look a little bit at the energies and what and why everything is occurring the way it is at the moment. We're entering into a very tumultuous stage of the ascension process at the moment, or the transitional period of this ascension process. I was talking a little bit last night online. David Esri and I presented the fourth and the final part of our Archangel series, and it was a lovely turnout, very high frequency event, working with Archangel Uriel and Archangel Metatron. But I've spent only just a little bit of time kind of speaking about where we are with the ascension energies. And if you kind of rewind to the start of last year, to the beginning of 2020, when all of this kind of global change began, we started what I call the release of like a mass or collective fear release. Now, everything last year was about fear. It was about threat. It was about personal danger. It was about locking ourselves away to be safe from an invisible threat. And on top of that, the media kind of just literally saturating everybody with as much information that they possibly could, so that those that were kind of tuning into and buying into the scenario were indeed literally terrified. So here comes the rain. It's raining even harder now. But what I've seen now is a transition of these energies. We've moved through the fear stage of it, and what is now beginning to break out into the field all around us is the only way to describe it is the outrage phase. Okay, now, whereas previously there were many people around the world who were still, their third eye was blinkered, the fifth veil hadn't been removed, still not seeing clearly, still basically relying on outside sources of information, particularly media, to let them know what's going on in the world. Many of those souls have woken up now. Over the course of the last 18 months, due to the reoccurring events, due to being able to see clearly, many people recently, and I'm not just talking about last year, in the last 2, 3, 4 months, have just completely woken up. Now, those circumstances that wake up are usually, they're quite pressurized, so their response to the field is anger, it's outrage, and it's now built momentum to be a collective outrage. So fear has turned to anger, and again, it's down to us as a light team here on Earth to alchemize that, to balance it, to bring it into an equilibrium, to allow that anger its expression, but for it not to become a part of our everyday reality. So the only way that I can see that this is being dealt with at the moment is the huge influx of light that we are receiving now. Solstices and equinoxes and full moons and planetary alignments and five major cosmic messengers and planets in retrograde, they all happen at a specific time to make sure that the progress that we are making occurs when it is supposed to. So everything is happening on time at the moment. It's happening to schedule. It's happening the way that it was foreseen, and is actually being executed on the timeline. Now, between the solstice, and I'm just trying to kind of like analyse and see where it all fits in here. Between the solstice on Monday and the Lion's Gate, which kind of peaks on the 8th of August, there is, the only way to describe it is almost like a race with the heavens to cram as much light into the matrix before the switch is turned on the Lionsgate and it becomes actualized. So we are going to see an increase in the volume of cosmic ascension energies coming in. They've already, this acceleration, this increase has already greatly started. We're already feeling it, we're already integrating it, we're already noticing the differences around us, but the volume of it, the quantity and the concentration is just going to increase exponentially between the solstice and the Lionsgate. It's almost the last period of time to get all of that light into the matrix before the next phase of the operation is opened. So for us, what does that mean? How does it affect us? Well, of course, we've got to operate on a functional basis, doing the jobs that we've incarnated to do, and take that extra light on board. That's not something that we can kind of just lightly dismiss and just, oh yeah, whatever, it's a bit more light. This affects some people quite acutely. We all know about, I've spoken many times about the Ascension symptoms before, how you can wake up one day feeling absolutely tickety-boo, A1, all systems go, and then literally 24 hours later you feel like you've been hit by a juggernaut. Well, this kind of yo-yoing will possibly be a theme for us, depending on how grounded we are, how anchored we are, how good or how proficient we've become at taking light into our bodies and fields. And some of you might not even notice this is happening. You're too focused on the job, you're too focused on what we're set out to achieve here. But if you obviously need to take the time to rest, then step back, take a rest, integrate ground, make sure that you're out in nature, whether it's raining on you or not, and take whatever steps you are guided to do, because the information I'm receiving is that we are going to see this remarkable increase in light volume. The gateway just opens on the solstice. It's already open. It's kind of building and filtering down, but it's almost like if you let the plug out of a very fast draining bath, this is what it's going to look like. It's just going to be like this huge column of light connecting to Earth, absolutely filling everything and everyone with the gold ray of Christ and cosmic Christ energies, and we're going to have fun integrating it. It's as simple as that. This completely is overlooking what's going on the 3D matrix level. That's by the by. Whatever will occur. But the foundation of the light that we're building is what I believe that we need to be focused on, how important it is. So Archangel Metatron is saying to me very, very clearly that between the 21st and the target date of the 8th of August, that is a window where as much light, the largest volume, the largest quantity of light is going to be applied to our situation. This will reveal more shadows around us, okay? Whenever you've heard me use the analogy before, if you chuck a brick in a pond, when the brick sinks, goes to the bottom, knocks all the silt to the surface. We can already see these shadows. They've revealed themselves, they've stepped forwards, they're absolutely everywhere. They're in the media, they're in the situations that are being presented to us. Things that we thought were a certain way are now being revealed to not be that way. And this is what is creating a lot of the outrage and the anger within the field. So watch out for that outrage vibration. It's very easy to tune into, it's very easy to get caught by, because a lot of these situations apply to me, they apply to you. They are potentially threatening, okay, depending on what perspective that you are looking at. Now, another practical way of navigating this situation at the moment is that I've been really studying the aspect of learning your rights, sovereignty. Again, there's previous videos that I've covered about this before, but there's some amazing people on social media now who are speaking out and giving very practical and why didn't I think of that before type solutions to the things that we've been presented with. All of this, you must do that, you are being coerced into this situation, if you don't do this you will be punished, I have law or authority over you. Well, no, they don't, okay? And all you need to do is kind of rewind it all, And this takes a lot of unprogramming, because we have been programmed to be part of a society that requires us to be completely obedient and listening, you know, do what the masters tell us to do. Well, we're the masters, okay? This might be kind of it's a new and interesting subject, and it might be something that we're all kind of like dibbly-dabbling around in and getting used to, but that's the truth of it. And a lot of these masters are the ones that are also feeling outraged at the moment, and it's the outrage that reclaims the sovereignty. So it's a funny old mixture of things that are going on in this field. But for me, as ever, I'm focused on the light. Okay, my role is to get as much of that light into the Earth matrix system as possible, and we will do it. There's an old saying of like, where you can never really stop or even hope to stop a planetary or a cosmic process. So we've got all of these things that are occurring on planet Earth that appear threatening and appear like they might be, you know, like our everyday reality is going to stop and be replaced by something dystopian. But it's not, because all it is the last show of a particular section of energy or a group of forces on this planet who've been in power for a long time and are just getting a little bit mardy about handing their keys back, because it's time to move on. It's time to elevate. It's time to step out of that field of 3D vibration and move to the next one. This is just the untangling, as I've said many times before. Untangling from something that was set up specifically to be controlled and ego-based. Was never going to be a particularly easy or graceful situation. The circumstances that we've got around us at the moment had to be done in that way in order for the particular effect to be enough to snap people out of the illusion that they've been in for so long. It might not be quite what we wanted or what we ordered or what we wish to experience, but here it is, and we're working with it. So yeah, I'd like to all wish you a very happy solstice summer. So it's we've had some lovely weather in the UK. Now we're getting the rain, but I hope for all of you that are out, maybe attending sacred sites or open air ceremonies on Monday, that you get the beautiful weather that we would hope for going outside and doing this kind of work. So just whatever your point of focus is at the moment, whatever is driving you or moving you forward, again, make sure that point of focus is coming from the heart. Because when this light comes in, we've had our preparations, we've had our build up, we've had, you know, not what I'd call drips and drabs, but kind of concerted downloads. This will be a constant downpouring, okay? Just try and kind of like wrap your heads around that a little bit, about when the light comes in, it comes in and then it doesn't stop. And that will be between Monday, the solstice, until whatever date within the Lion's Gate they see fit to turn it off. Now, the Lion's Gate is always the period of time where physical action is taken on the energies that come in. For me, it's always one of the most intense periods, not just because I'm a Leo with a lot of planets in Leo, just simply because it's, out of all of the spiritual events and dates over the course of the year, the Lion's Gate appears to be the one where the physical changes are implemented. Something happens which is remarkable, quite often quite dramatic, and it can either be energetic or it can be physical, but whatever it is, it has a profound effect on our reality from that point onwards. So this is now, the gates are open, the floodgates are coming in, and it's preparation for that switch turning, that Lion's Gate lights on. Now, also interestingly, by the time we get to the Lion's Gate, it will have been the 2-year marker point for something which was described to me as the storm layer. Okay, now if you go back through my archives, you'll hear or see videos that I've done upon the storm layer, which, for those of you that aren't familiar with the term, It is a layer of alchemizing energy which was set up around the planet 2 years ago at the Lion's Gate to draw in all of the negative energy that's going to be released. This is how I knew that things were going to be getting really funky on this planet, because they wouldn't have been setting something like that up in etheric if it wasn't started, but I had no idea how they were going to be doing it at the time. So from this Lion's Gate onwards, this storm layer enters its final year, okay? And it was originally described to me that it would be down tuning during that time. So the bulk of everything that needed to be put into it will be happening between now and the Lion's Gate. So I don't even need to say it. I don't need to say brace yourselves or anchor yourselves in. We don't need to protect ourselves from this stuff. It's light. It's the fabric of our existence. It's what we're made of. We're just physical units that are bringing it in and anchoring it and actualizing it. But what we do with it is another matter altogether. There's so many of us that are being guided now to be at certain points, using certain energies, using crystals if we feel drawn to do so, to make sure that the light is going into where it is required the most and spreading out. And David did a very beautiful and interesting exercise with Archangel Uriel last night, which has been used by the masters throughout for millennia, where we become the beacon point, not just your crystal, not just a sacred site, but we are the walking sacred sites ourselves. And it's an interesting one to try, because we call all of these energies in, we utilize them, we use them on a daily basis, but most of the time it's an external application. On this occasion, what Archangel Uriel had brought through in his book, The Seven Beloved Archangels Speak, was we use ourselves as that unit of light. So there's us physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually existing here on this plane, but our spiritual fields extend for up to 15 miles around us. So whatever we put into that field, whatever our spiritual field consists of, that is all around us for a large radius. If you think about the radius of energy that is contained within 15 miles, it's extensive. It covers a lot of ground. It also joins and connects with other fields of energy that are operating on a similar bandwidth. And eventually, if you see how it all interconnects with each other all around the world, it gives you a little bit of an idea how powerful we are, and just how much, the only way to describe it is the authority of light that we have at this particular point in our transition. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We are masters of light, and we are going to be asked, increasingly so, over the next 2 months to master that light. However you are guided to do it, however you approach your daily ascension process, whether it's a down-to-earth and practical one, whether you're like me, you're constantly waiting for the next download of light to come in, just flow with how you are guided. Okay, you don't need to kind of overextend yourself or try something that's beyond the limits of your guidance. Just sit with it quietly, ask your heart or your higher self, how am I being guided to bring this light in and anchor at this particular time, and just flow with it. Okay, it's a very natural, the more natural we are, the more fluid, the more flowing that we are during this period of time, it will feel breezy. Okay, the effects of it around us will be increasingly and incredibly powerful, but for us it's a smooth, beautiful, fluid process. We're used to this now, we've had ample training, and all of this is a massive download that is going to be having a profound effect on us. So, happy solstice. I'll be back on Monday again with a walking meditation. Now tomorrow I'm going to be presenting at 4:30 on Naturally Fed's Summer Summit, and I'll be going live, so the details to join, if you wish to do so, will be underneath this video. And then on Monday Jackie, Paul, Sally and myself will be presenting a really beautiful 2-hour evening do to celebrate and anchor in the solstice light. So sending you all lots of love. I'm going to go in and get dry now. See you all soon. Bye.